people are overstimulated with mobile phones, with computer, with too many things happening.
Like we had a story of Cinderella. Cinderella was an orphan. So magnesium is a remedy of orphans, the people who have been forsaken, who have been rejected, who have been not been loved. Staphylococcus aureus is out and out syphilitic. They may hold on to something, and even the most expensive phone they will throw.
Hello, dear friends, homeopaths. This is Homeo Sapiens. My name is Barbara Liberowicz, and my guest today is Dr. Jawahar Shah. Dr. Jawahar Shah is for those who don't know, my very old friend, and we met many, many years ago when Dr. Jawahar Shah was lecturing in Krakow.
Barbara, it has been long, 25, 30 years of relationship. And I have visited Krakow, I have visited Warsaw, and the salt mines were amazing. You know, the kind of art which you have. I think everybody should visit Warsaw and Krakow and experience the beauty of nature and the creativity of humans.
Wow, nice to hear. You remember I was translating your lectures in Krakow.
Yes, yes.
I must admit I learned a lot from you. And one day I remember we were talking about how to assess if the remedy is working correctly or not. And you gave me a tip that I'm using so far, because you said you ask patient if his sleep is okay.
Yeah.
You ask the patient if his sleep has improved. So it is very sensitive parameter.
How true it was. You know, there are three parameters. One is improvement of appetite. Second is feeling of well-being. And the third and most important is sleep. There are a lot of times when you give the right remedy, the patient sleeps so well. And when the patient sleeps so well, the recovery happens. You know, the maximum repair work, immunity work, and the growth factors happen only and only during sleep. And even the mind, the cleansing of the mind, you know, like the streets are cleaned, same way the mind gets cleaned only during sleep. See, Barbara, you know, since last few years, since the COVID, we have been doing a lot of research, you know, why do people suffer? And to our surprise, we found that more than 70 clinical conditions come up because of the lack of sleep, irregular sleep, or incomplete sleep. And then we did a lot of work, a lot of research, and then we started going through all the new cases we took. And to our surprise, more than 50% of the patients had sleep disorders. Recently, I went for one of the international congress, and I was surprised that most of them do not have any treatment for sleep apnea or insomnia or restless leg syndrome, which covers more than 70% of sleep disorders. And while we know it very clearly, you know, we have such wonderful remedies, more than 300 remedies, which would work for different clinical conditions.
I would like to go back to what you said about sleep factor in many diseases that you mean, PCOD or diabetes. We have to think always what is the reason and what is the cause. As homeopaths, we are trained to think holistically. And we know that sleep is very important part of the whole picture. And we always ask patient about sleep. So it's very difficult sometimes to establish what is the cause or what is the reason. But probably you are right that we often forget to think that sleep is the root cause of many problems.
Barbara, there are two aspects of sleep. One is the external factor, another one is internal factor. Now, whenever there is an external factor, it can be easily managed. But as far as internal factors are concerned, Uh, there are certain clinical conditions, like if you have a severe arthritic pain or if you have asthma, your sleep is naturally disturbed. Okay. And there are some external factors, like if you are working in shift job, or if you have a little child who is not allowing you to sleep, this is another external cause. But as far as the main cause is concerned, if the sleep is disturbed, irrespective of any disease or any conditions or any external factor, it affects different clinical conditions.
How would you approach a sleep disorder from miasmatic point of view?
I think, Barbara, this is a very interesting question, and I really appreciate for asking this question. I'll go to first the soric aspect. In the soric phase, there is a suddenness, there is a cause, and there is an expression. So suppose if we take up a person has a love failure and he develops sleep disturbances, the remedy will be ignatia. And that will change the entire pattern. And as we know it very well, if we have continuous sighing with weeping and sobbing, it is ignatia. The soric phase, it could be loss in business, and it expresses very clearly. In the acute phase, it can be self-limiting, or when you give the right medicine, the patient recovers completely. Now, in the soric phase, there are some remedies like coffea, which goes very deep, and Netromure, which brings on lot of disturbances, emotional disturbances, but it is more at the chronic level. So soric phase, it's very, very important. And then we go to psychotic phase. In psychotic phase, there is a lot of fixity. The person is fixed to some ideas, and it is because of depression. It is because of emotional disturbances. And the remedies like Thuja comes up very well, and remedies like magnesium comes very well at this stage. The third phase is syphilitic phase, where there is a lot of aggression. The person's thoughts are very negative. They have suicidal thoughts, they have homicidal thoughts, they have a lot of aggression. And here, the remedies like syphilinum comes very close, magnesium group comes very close. And what is so specific about magnesium, that when we go through the repertory, the highest number of dreams are covered by magnesium. And that is how you are able to prescribe the right remedy.
How would you recognize magnesium salts, and what are particular symptoms, sleep symptoms of magnesium?
Okay. There are few very interesting symptoms. The first symptom is when they have, acne. Acne will leave scar on the face. One of the most important remedy for acne leaving scar. The second point of magnesium is all the discharges are offensive and they leave stains on the clothes. So in the male, they may have perspiration, which would leave clothes stained. In the female, nowadays they use pad, but normally they would leave stain if they could not take care, which were difficult to wash off. The next point is constipation. Magnesium is one of the most important remedy for constipation. And next important symptom is dreams. They have lots and lots of dreams. Magnesium is a remedy of rejection. Like we had a story of Cinderella. Cinderella was an orphan. So magnesium is a remedy of orphans, the people who have been forsaken, who have been rejected, who have not been loved, who have not been loved. So these are the pointers to magnesium.
And what are the syphilitic features of magnesium salts?
The syphilitic features of magnesium are of depression. They are not expressing. They keep their feelings inside and they sit in corner and they always fight with the world and they want to prove themselves. So either they internalize or they externalize. So when they externalize, they become very aggressive, very revengeful, and their dreams are full of war and disaster and terrorism. This is a very characteristic of magnesium dream in the syphilitic phase. We are having a complete program where 12 different clinical conditions like insomnia, restless leg syndrome, hypersomnia, talking and sleep, walking and sleep. Our repertoire is full of such symptoms, or sensitive to slightest noise. Even the rustle of paper produces sleeplessness. So because we have such beautiful remedies, they bring about a major transformation. And we are taking up 12 different conditions, one condition each. So there are 12 sessions which we are going to have.
Where can people find information about your lectures about sleep disorders?
Yeah. So, for that information, we have created one introductory lecture, which is absolutely complimentary. I'm sharing the link with you right now. And also I'm sharing one pager where they could go and register and understand the more details about this course. And if they find it interesting, the introduction lecture, they can register for the same. Here is the link and the details about the course.
People are overstimulated with mobile phones, with computer, with too many things happening. So then it results in sleep disorder. Can you please sleeplessness? Yes. Can you please comment on that? Oh, what would be your homeopathic thinking in this overstimulating outside world?
See, responding to overstimulation is predominantly tubercular and soric. In tubercular, they respond in a very erratic way. For the same stimulus, they may not like the stimulus, they may cut it off, and the same stimulus may excite. But as far as the soric phase is concerned, the responses have been more of a balanced, and the patients are able to come back. So overstimulation, we have wonderful remedies like Natrum group, which is very, very important. It reacts to the smallest of the smallest stimulus, and it keeps in mind and reacts even after some time. So they are the people who keep on brooding on same thing for years and years. Staph cereus is out and out syphilitic. They may hold on to something, and even the most expensive phone they will throw. And that is how you get the prescription. So most of our prescriptions are based on integrative, holistic way, but sometimes a keynote which is so strong can help us to prescribe a right medicine.
Yeah, the beauty of homeopathy is that we sometimes get information or the hint about the remedy, not exactly from the sleep symptoms, but from the other symptoms that we hear from the patient. There was a long talk, and I haven't heard even one word starting from Nux.
Oh, and I will tell you, Nux is something where both mind and body are, in a restless position. And as far as the body is concerned, they have tremendous nausea, tremendous urge to go to stool or vomit, but they may not have the vomit. But temperamentally, Nux is very, very irritable, very, very, it just boils out like a volcano suddenly. And the most abrupt, that is the soric aspect of Nux vomica, that is very, very irritable. And if there is an emotional disturbances, if there is a gastric disturbances, Nux vomica puts the child to sleep. I've been part of the COVID task force and of government of Maharashtra. And, it was very surprising that a lot of people who have suffered from COVID or they have been vaccinated, they have a lot of complications. And we have treated more than 3,000 cases with all the complications. And one of the best remedy to bring around sleepiness in sleeplessness patient is COVID-30. If you use COVID-30 in a potentized form, it puts the patient to sleep within just few minutes. Because of the side effects, it cleans the miasmatic aspects
But
which has been created by COVID.
you mean COVID as a nosode?
COVID is a nosode. COVID is a
I don't
nosode.
think we have it. Okay, I have to check if you have it. Yeah.
You can get it from Ainsworth. Even Helios has it.
Mhm.
Ainsworth from London.